Hello, welcome to LADA Life. Today I want to talk about something that seems harmless, iced tea, specifically sweet tea. Sweet tea in the South, the southern United States, and how it quietly affects blood sugar, overall health, and even kidney health. I want to share a story about a friend of mine who moved to the south of the United States, the southern United States, and they started drinking sweet tea. Sweet tea was everywhere, as you might know if you've been to that area, if you've been to Florida or one of the other southern states. Sweet tea is a common drink at restaurants, family gatherings, airports, basically everywhere you go. Sweet tea is a very popular drink. And they started drinking sweet tea and they started not feeling so good. They felt weird symptoms. So they went to the doctor. They wanted to be tested for diabetes. And it turned out they did not have diabetes, even though they had low energy and didn't feel good. But what they did do is they got a kidney stone. The only time in their entire life they got a kidney stone. And then later on, they found out that there's something called the kidney belt, an area of the United States, the southern United States, where there's more kidney stones there. And I wonder, is sweet tea the connection there? Now, sweet tea has so much sugar in it. It has as much or more sugar than soda. There's a lot of variation, of course, but they were used to drinking iced tea without sugar in it. In the Pacific Northwest, where I live, the Pacific Northwest of the United States, if you go into a restaurant and you ask for iced tea, you don't even have to specify unsweetened. It's my go-to drink, iced tea. I always get unsweetened iced tea. Sometimes they'll ask you if you want sugar, but they don't really pressure you to have sugar. But then when I went down to Florida on vacation, I had to say unsweetened iced tea at every restaurant. And sometimes they said, are you sure you don't want sugar? You want some sugar? And they were pressuring you to have sugar for your tea. There's a cultural difference here. And having sugar in your drink all the time, for a lot of people, it's probably going to cause health problems. It could anyway. And it certainly is something that I can't have because I have LADA diabetes, latent autoimmune diabetes in adults, and I have to watch my sugar intake very carefully. But even if you don't have diabetes yet, drinking stuff with a lot of sugar in it, every time you intake all that sugar, your pancreas has to work hard to release insulin, so the insulin then can lower your blood sugar by taking that sugar and putting it in your fat cells or something. So there's a couple of different biological processes that go on, but your body has to maintain a very specific blood sugar level or you will have diabetes. And some people, their pancreas struggles to do that, or they have insulin resistance, which is also a struggle on the pancreas. The pancreas sometimes makes more insulin actually because you're insulin resistant. Or if you have type 1 diabetes or LADA diabetes, your pancreas is not able to make insulin because the cells have become damaged. It's an autoimmune attack on the body. But regardless of what kind of diabetes, there's a whole bunch of health consequences from having a lot of sugar in your diet. It's culturally a big difference between the southern part of the United States and other parts of the United States where sweet tea is not a cultural thing. And unsweetened tea is my go-to drink. But how come I can't always find it? When I'm at an airport, I go to the little mini marketplace to get a drink, and I look on the shelf, and as you can see in this picture here, they've sold out of unsweetened tea. They had like 3 or 4 different kinds of tea, and the ones that they still had in stock all had sugar in them. So people are clearly buying the unsweetened tea as the rates of diabetes are increasing in this country. More people are learning about diabetes and how to take care of their health and changing their diet. And one way to really reduce your sugar is to first cut out all the sugary drinks. And people are doing that clearly because I see when I go to a store to buy iced tea, I often see that unsweetened iced tea is sold out or almost sold out, which means that people are choosing it over the sweet tea. And yet the managers of the store are not stocking more of the unsweetened tea. I was at one store in New York City, actually, and I was looking for unsweetened tea. They had lots and lots of drinks, bottled drinks of all kinds, and they had no unsweetened tea. And that is really disappointing. And I do wonder if they are aware of how many people would buy that if they had it available. There's some really wonderful Pure Leaf brand iced tea. Unsweetened tea is absolutely delicious, and there's no sugar or artificial sweetener in there. And I personally like to avoid artificial sweeteners too, because I question whether the chemicals, the artificial sweetener chemicals, are really good for you. I do not think they are in general. So unsweetened iced tea. Anyway, there's my story, and the cultural differences across the United States are drastically different. And if you look at the health problems, at least some of those health problems are due to differences in diet and perhaps exercise as well. If you exercise, sort of goes hand in hand. If you exercise, you move around. You don't even have to work out. If you are active, that really does help with maintaining your health. I'm not here to cancel out sweet tea. It's fine to have some things in moderation. And of course, not everybody has so much difficulty with managing their blood sugar, but the rates of diabetes are skyrocketing. And it is a wise choice to choose an unsweetened drink. And I would love to see that available more and more commonplace so people aren't pressuring you to have sugar in your tea. Do you agree? I'd love a thumbs up because I'd like to get the word out that what you choose to drink, and you may not even be thinking about it too much. You may be just like, oh, that tastes good. It can have a really big impact on your health. If you're new here, my name is Linnea May Huxford. I'm the author of Success with LADA Diabetes. I am working on a second edition of my book to expand it. I am really passionate about nutrition, about health, and sharing everything I have learned about my journey with LADA diabetes. I was misdiagnosed with type 2 diabetes. It is extremely common. If you're interested in that topic, I have more videos here on YouTube. Please subscribe and stay around. I really thank you so much. And if you know somebody who could benefit from hearing this message, maybe they aren't realizing how much sugar is in their drinks, please share. Thank you. There's nothing like a real life experience to understand all the connections of what goes on. And there is the impact of your decisions of what to eat is probably the biggest impact on your health. And then the other ones are exercise, sleep, and stress. Not sleeping well, that is a very significant impact, and it can cause insulin resistance and possibly contribute to diabetes too. And then stress, chronic stress causes all kinds of physical damage. And we don't talk about that enough. Mental health is really critical to taking care of diabetes. Please share. Thank you.